Hello and welcome to WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. We're doing something a little different in this edition of WJTS in.form. We have made our way to the Dubois County Jail, and we're going to talk to someone who is currently an inmate at the jail who would like to tell her story so that hopefully others can learn from it and not take the same path that she did. And joining us is Cammie Hopster. And Cammie, I guess first of all, let's talk about what was the crime that you did and why are you in jail?
I got an OWI back in 2012, which put me in work release, and then I revoked work release for running, which is an escape charge. So I did 3 months in here from June to September, and then that was in 2013, and then I got released in September and did 3 more months in work release, and then I got a driving while suspended, so that's put me here.
Okay, now, that's where you are right now.
Yeah.
But you're wanting to say, okay, enough of that, I need to move my life in a different direction. You've gone and spoken to, I think, one of the local schools, middle schools, talked to the kids about your life and what you've done and how you hope to turn it around. Can you tell your story to our TV audience?
I started drinking at the age of 15. My childhood was a bit troubled. I was adopted at the age of 4. So, drinking was an outlet. It covered up a lot of the pain, a lot of the hurt. And in high school, bullying was a big issue for me. And it's funny because I was like one of the big athletes. So for somebody like me who had everything given to them to just flip and go down a path like this was not foreseen by my parents. And it just put a lot more hurt on me. So the drinking and the drugs and everything, it was my outlet. It was to cover up the pain and pretend everything was okay. Like, to not feel emotions. It was my best friend. And so after getting in trouble at the age of 17 for my first OWI, a couple of days before Christmas, really hurt my parents and really hurt me. I was kicked out of sports. I lost free ride scholarships, which just added fuel to the fire. So the drinking became worse and worse and worse. And by 18, I moved out of my parents' house because I didn't like the rules. I didn't want to follow rules. I thought I could do it all by myself. And hung out with the wrong crowd and started drinking every day, all day. And by age 20, I had my second OWI. And I failed for marijuana on that one. So spent a little bit of time in jail, had to ask my friend's dad to bond me out. And by 21, I had my third one, which I endangered the life of somebody else who was in the car with me, and I wrecked into somebody's yard. So it's hard because I continued to drink. I didn't learn my lesson because I wanted the party life. I wanted to be what I was in high school, the popular one, the one who has every single friend, the one who's just, oh my gosh, she's so cool, like she's the best person ever. And the summer of 2012 is when I drank for 2 months straight because I had gotten my trust fund money from my grandmother's death. I spent over $2,000 on alcohol. I was never sober for 2 months straight. The detox was horrible. I thought I was gonna die. Like, it was the seizures and everything, and that's really when I wanted to stop, was after I went through the detox. And having 2 kids and ignoring them through the entire time was just horrible. And now it's time to grow up, be a parent, and being in jail as long as I have, it's really made me rethink everything. Also, after losing a friend, in a car wreck, it can happen to anybody. So life's short.
Well, you sound like what would be a typical life, and then it just, once you start down a path, what are suggestions you have for folks that are kids or parents who are in a situation like you? What can we do to make changes? You've been there, you would know.
For kids, you know, you really don't have to be number one. You don't have to be on top. You don't have to do what other people do. And if you're in pain, try to find help. Don't mask it. Don't cover it, because it's going to end up A, killing you, or B, ending you here. And parents, take time with your kids. Don't get frustrated. Don't throw your hands in the air and say, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm done. Because my parents did that. They didn't know how to handle it. They weren't used to having somebody who liked drugs, who liked alcohol, and they didn't know how to cope. It's a hard thing for a child to go through when they have nobody to talk to, nobody who understands how they feel, which adds fuel to the fire. So
you've made mistakes, you've come to this point in your life, now it's time to change.
Yeah.
And you're going to be changing that. Where do you hope to be 5 years from now, and then 10 years from now?
I'm hoping as soon as I get out of here to go to VU and start psychology. I want to go to college for psychology. I really hope to be back in my kids' life and, you know, watching them grow up and go to school and just have a nice house, stay sober, you know, the perfect American dream, pretty much.
How difficult do you think it will be? Because you're always going to have that stigma that you're always going to carry with you of where you were. Some people are not forgiving. Others are very forgiving. How do you plan to handle that?
It's one day at a time, one step at a time, and bridges I've burned in the past are going to be really hard to rebuild. I know with my parents it's taken 4 years just to get even an ounce of attention or trust. So, you know, it's hard. And then being a felon, it's going to be harder because that limits your jobs, that limits your ability to go to college for some professions. So. But
you're going to need people to help you along the way.
Yeah.
And how can the average person who maybe sees somebody who's struggling, what are things you were hoping that maybe somebody would have done for you years ago that, you know, would it have helped if somebody along the line said, no, I'm not going to buy you the beer? Or are there points like that really are important?
Yeah, you know, I had those friends. I had those friends that said that's not good to do. You're going to get in trouble. You know, you're going to ruin your life. And, you know, I was rebellious. I didn't care. And I still continuously hung out with the wrong crowd. And, I mean, they'd do anything. And so I could get anything and everything I wanted. And back when I was 16, we didn't get carded. Mm-hmm. So I could buy anything I wanted. So
it was pretty easy to get the problems that,
yeah.
to I guess, keep multiplying the problems you have.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, you hope to have a degree and be working and living a good life.
Yeah.
Okay. Although it'll still be a difficult life, but everybody, in a way, has a difficult life. Mm-hmm. What are things that you hope that people take away from seeing this on TV?
You know, I hope people rethink what they do. You know, I hope kids, whatever the situation may be, you know, never pick up that first drink, never pick up that first can, that first joint, anything like that, snort their first pill. It's really not worth it. I mean, life has so much more to offer. And being a parent myself, I'd be hurt if my kids were in the situation I'm in, because jail's no fun whatsoever. So just really think, I mean, go out and play softball or, you know, go to the movies. Do something like that. That's actually fun.
Do some positive things rather than negative things. Mm-hmm. And I'd imagine once you start down that path of negativity, that's really got to be tough to stop and turn around, but you're at that point.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you think people need to realize about this that, you know, don't make alcohol, I guess, available. What are other things like that?
You know, the weed and what is it, K2, that stuff, that's really easy for anybody to get. And then Duster as well. You can easily go to Walmart and just put it in your purse. They sell it on the counter. So that's really easy for people to get. And, you know, it's stuff like that that's going to be a problem. The alcohol, I get carded nowadays, so they do a really good job on that. But you got to watch the upper age people who want the friends who probably, you know, are going through a hard time and like the parties. So everything's readily available, and it's monitoring your kids because they're starting at a very, very, very young age. So
if a parent goes to a child and says, "Hey, I'm worried about you," that's a tough relationship. I think there's not many parents that feel comfortable doing that. What can the child do to make that more comfortable for the parents, or what should the parents do to make it more comfortable for the child?
Parents, I mean, just keep an eye on the kids. I mean, some drugs you're not going to be able to tell your kids are even on.
Because you can hide it pretty easily.
Yeah, you can hide it very, very well. So it's going to be hard. I mean, don't pretend like it's not an issue. Kids really actually do want you to say, "Hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Like, what's wrong?" They want you to be in their life, but most parents, like you said, it's uncomfortable. And I think parents need to start asking, you know, what's wrong, what's going on. And I know bullying in schools is a big, big issue that starts it off. That really starts the drug abuse, the alcoholism. And if we could try to lower the bullying, I think, you know, it's gonna affect a great deal of kids. So
kids who are bullies, while they think they're having fun, they may not realize how they're really going to mess up somebody's life.
Yeah, and kids don't realize it doesn't just hurt them, it hurts everyone around them, sometimes even more.
Now, you obviously are very strong to be able to now be at this point and to say, "I'm going to make a change." What gives you that strength?
My kids, really. You know, having to look at your kids through glass and have them say, "Mommy, when are you coming home?" or not even know you because I've been locked up since my daughter's first birthday, my youngest. So, you know, it's really a turning point for me to say, "Hey, you know, there's people out there that need me more than I need this alcohol, than I need this drug." And that's what's really turning my life around.
And you can see the joy then in them, and that maybe is your new high.
Yeah.
Is how you feel when you're around folks like that. But also understanding, and I hope people realize that it's not an easy road. You're going to have some setbacks, you're going to have some tough times, but you just got to go forward with it with your strength.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Cammie, thank you very much for speaking with us. I know that was really difficult, but it's an important lesson that I hope folks learn something from. I hope that you take something away from this and you're able to make your life better or the life of someone else. And sometimes it's up to us to reach out to someone like you and say, "You know, what you're doing is not right, you need to change." And that's important. Everybody plays a part in all of this. Yeah. Cammie, thank you very much for being with us. Our guest has been Cammie Hopster. She is currently at the Dubois County Jail. I hope you learned something from this edition of WJTS in.form, something to make someone else's life better. Thank you for watching. I'm Bill Potter. We are local people watching local people.